It is Monday, January 13th, a violent weekend in Harrisburg. I'm Joel D. Smith. The best way to address this, we're going to get all of our reporters working on this story and pieces of this story together all at once to discuss what happened over the weekend and also the reaction from some of the people in the city and also some city officials about what to do next. It's been a violent start to the year for Harrisburg. 24 murders, homicides, so to speak, last year, 3 in just the past week or so here into 2025. Let's bring all of our people in right now. We have Elise Person, TJ Anthony, Fatima Moien, all in different pieces of this. TJ, I'll start with you. What aspect are you covering today?
Yeah, hey Joel D. So right now I'm covering the most recent homicide that happened overnight at around 12:30 in the morning. This one happened right in between North 18th and Carnation Street. So I had the chance to speak with some of the victims' family today.
Then, what is the city going to do next? That's always a piece of this. Elise, what do you have there?
Hey, Joel. Yeah, so I spoke with Harrisburg City Police as well as the mayor to learn what comes next. One thing that we heard today that I haven't heard thus far in covering, quite a bit of homicides here in Harrisburg is the mayor is looking for the court system to step in and make some changes. So that's a big piece of information that we haven't seen from the city thus far, especially after a violent year last year and then the start to a violent year this year.
And then Fatima Moien, what part of this are you covering today?
Hi, Jolie. Hi, team. Well, my aspect is really just hearing from the people that are now faced with all this violence. I've kind of gone all over town, all over Allison Hill, and just speaking with people and businesses and how they're kind of taking their well-needed safety precautions and really just keeping each other informed on the latest of, the stretch of violence coming out.
Well, if any of you want to add in at various points, you can. This is kind of a roundtable situation. But TJ, let's get more into the details of this most recent part of this violence and tell us what we know so far.
I mean, we know this was a young teenager. His stepmom tells me he was only 19. His stepmom says, is Corey Swan. Right now, there's a growing memorial outside of where he was shot and killed. And this is just another senseless shooting. His family says they want to see a difference. You see right there on one of the balloons, it even says "Long Live Corey." There's a candle lit there in his honor as well. We also know right there on the street, a couple of vehicles were shot out, including a truck. Its windows right there was shot out. So people just want to see a difference. They really want to see a change. And they're sick of these shootings and these killings.
That refrain that you just brought in, we want change, we want the violence to stop, is something that just about every city in the country has said at various times over the past however many decades, right? What do you do about it? What can you change? What are some of the things they're talking about when it comes to this? Elise, I know you talked to the mayor's office today.
Yeah, so they say they're really looking for harsher sentences for those who commit these types of crimes. The mayor said today herself, along with Police Commissioner Tom Carter, they were going down to the Dauphin County Courthouse to speak with judges about the types of sentences people that commit these types of crimes are facing, as well as how long they are, kept in prison, kept behind bars. The mayor alluded today to people who commit these types of crimes getting out quicker than she would like to see, saying that sometimes they're not staying in prison or in jail long enough where they're able to commit these types of crimes more than once. So she said that's something that really needs to change. We need to get these types of people off the streets. And she touched very briefly today. She didn't go into much detail, but she said, we want to speak with the judges about the role that parents have to play. What kind of responsibility do they hold? So that's something we're definitely going to be staying on top of is there a possibility for parents to be held accountable for these types of things? Again, she touched on that very briefly, did not go into more detail, but we do know that the Harrisburg mayor, as well as the police commissioner, they were down at the Dauphin County Courthouse speaking with the judges today.
Fatima, what kind of questions were you asking neighbors there when it came to this kind of violence? What was your questions? And then we'll get to the answers as well, because how we frame this stuff may help us move forward with what should happen next.
I think it was just really safe to ask folks that stat that we keep mentioning. It's just the start of the year. It's been 4 days, 3 homicides. How does that make you feel? And that kind of just got people concerned. Like, wait, what? What do you mean? It's only been this is the 13th of January, right? And so that
one quick thing. Did most of them already know there had been 3, or were you informing them?
many folks that I spoke with were actually unaware about last night's shooting. It was just too fresh for the recollection, and they did allude to, this is going to be something that's going to come up on Facebook. And so yeah, it's just one of those cases where, as much as we're learning about all the news coming in, so are folks. And so they were really honest in sharing that this is obviously a problem that's been ongoing. And many of the businesses I spoke with, they mentioned how they're always prepared to lock up really early. The latest they'll open their doors is 9 p.m. And while they're working throughout the days, they'll make sure their doors are locked. So it's just really interesting to hear how the community's trying to adapt, but there's still this issue at hand. And so
what's interesting is you said adapt, meaning this is how it's going to be. And because of that, I have to change the way I operate or the way I maneuver. Instead of fixing it, adapting to it. And it's almost like they don't think it's going to change. Is that what you got out of that?
For sure. I mean, there was a family pushing a stroller and they had a little one in there, and they were just like, this is going to keep going. And until there's no hard laws in place, they don't feel confident in things changing in anytime soon.
And then I just kind of want to jump in here for a quick second, because I mean, we talk about change and adapting to this. I know a lot of even city officials have said people need to start coming forward. We do need, they said, eyewitnesses to recount what happened, but a lot of people have told me some people are scared to come forward. They're scared of retaliation, of what may happen to them. So that's a big deal in solving these cases, is individuals coming forward, submitting a tip, and you can be anonymous if you choose to submit a tip. So people don't even have to know your name, what you look like, or any of that.
Right. I mean, everyone's heard snitches get stitches. There's other rhymes. There's other very aggressive things that get said in these communities about not talking. But nothing gets changed if you don't. And that's where it's been years now, but the law enforcement has changed it where you said you can be anonymous and try to get things moving here. Now, can you stay anonymous moving forward into a court situation and actually testifying? It doesn't matter right now. Initially, they need help to make these tips, to get more evidence, and then potentially get somebody in play here. Give me a little bit more from what you saw today, Elise, in terms of what level of frustration maybe the city's at with this, in particular the mayor's office.
Yeah, the mayor said, quite frankly, she's just fed up, is what it sounds like. She said that she was on the phone with Commissioner Tom Carter early this morning talking about what happened here. To kind of jump off that point that TJ had brought up, I had asked police very specifically because last summer, I mean, I want to talk about last year really quickly. There were 23 homicides that took place in 2024. 7 of those are still they're still trying to figure them out. They're still unsolved. So when it comes to community response, police say that is so highly important. And I asked Lieutenant Kyle Gouch today with Harrisburg City Police, what has been the response from the community in terms of these 3 homicides? And they said it's been decent. They said we've gotten some tips. So the help from the community, that's a huge part from police. But he said, the one from this morning, when it's that early in the morning, as well as, if it's the middle of winter when it's dark out, he's like, there's not a lot of witnesses, should you say. Another thing that he alluded to in terms of talking about 2024 to where we're at now in terms of the frustration is police presence doesn't necessarily deter violence. There was a number of shootings last year where there were Harrisburg City police officers 2 or 3 blocks away that there wasn't even a 911 call. They heard the shots and came to the scene. So that's where the frustration with police comes, because they said, we're going to still have boots on the ground. We're still going to have a police presence, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's deterring the violence. So right now it's trying to navigate what is going to stop the violence. And that's where Harrisburg Mayor Wanda Williams comes in and says, we need to have more aggressive sentences. If police presence isn't going to stop these crimes, what is?
And in terms of adapting, do we know why Corey was outside at that time of night?
So I did speak with his sister, and she believes it was just the wrong place at the wrong time for him. She didn't really know too much about it, but I mean, she's kind of learning stuff like we are as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's this cycle we're in right now. And I think you brought it up really well, Fatima, adapting to where we are versus hoping for change in the future. And it's like, until that change is there, do we need to adapt? Do we need to watch where we go and look at the times that we're out? And businesses, they have their points of this, but even people living there have another. Any final thoughts on this from any of you guys?
Well, I will say something I've realized with these communities. It's interesting. TJ brings up, that fact that people should talk and open up. But while in Allison Hill, I was talking to a source that was mentioning about, how they feel about the violence. And I happened to come across someone that's really close friends from one of these very cases. And it just goes to show that people are totally aware about what's going on. They know that this is an increasing issue. And there's a lot of like close knit family and friends and people really coming out to support each other at this time. So I just found that really beautiful in just the sheer violence that we're seeing. There's still this sense of community coming out. And so
Yeah.
I think we're going to definitely see that. But again, it just comes back to what's really the future solution. What can we really do?
Yeah. Well, we'll see if that suggestion from the mayor's office is the first step towards that. Hey, guys, we look forward to seeing you guys at 5 and 6 o'clock for the rest of your reports. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Joel.
All right, let's switch over to weather right now. I still have my farm show beard thing going on here. I guess I better get rid of this in the next hour or so before we hit regular TV. Let's bring in Tom Russell. Is it still beard weather, my friend? It's something like that.
I thought you were one of the livestock left over from the farm show. So, yeah,
It's
I
just
would
because
recommend that
smell,
you.
that's all.
But yeah, beard weather is in because technically it could keep you warmer. And
Yeah.
what's happening right now, Joel D, is we went 40 yesterday, some low 40s today. So it's been very mild the last 2 days. That's all about to go away as the Arctic air comes back. Take a look at this. Oh my goodness. Not just that, the winds pick up too. So you're dealing with temperatures. Look at tomorrow and Thursday, Wednesday, only in the 20s. So wind chills are going to be down in the single digits again. You might want to keep the beard now that I look at this. We do warm up.
Yeah.
We do warm up. We got a little messy weather on Saturday, kind of a rain snow mix. And then some of the forecast models are hinting at a bigger storm early next week. So we will keep you posted on that. But really, it's going to be a very, very cold week. It's back.
It's been a cold start to the year.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. January's been below average. If you remember, December was slightly below average. So people who have been wishing for old-fashioned winter, you're getting your wish.
All right. Skiers are happy. People that
Yeah,
like
that's a good one.
some snow is happy. It's weird. We got a little more snow to Maryland than Pennsylvania so far this year, too.
So far, yeah, even places into Virginia and the Carolinas have gotten more snow. So I was just looking. I just did the total. Excuse me, the total so far 5 inches of snow for the season. So
Okay.
we're a little bit behind.
All right. Maybe we'll catch up. We'll see. But either way, it's cold. All right, my friend. We'll see you a little later on. Thank you,
All right.
everybody, for watching CBS 21 Next. This is the kind of thing you will see every day. Time varies a little bit, so you might want to set those notifications on your YouTube page and click that little bell. That way, when we're on, we will be on with you. I'm Joel Dean, the place to be. Thanks for watching.